All right, Hotep, everybody. Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, and writer. It is Monday, October 7th, 2019, and we are live. Special edition of the African History Network show. Didn't broadcast live Sunday night, October 6th. I was busy and I was tired. Trying to get ready to head to Oakland, California as well. I'm speaking there this coming weekend. So we're doing a special broadcast Monday night with some updates dealing with the Amber Guyger case, Amber Guyger trial, the killing of Botham John. And then also, I did a broadcast on October 5th dealing with one of the witnesses, Joel Brown, who was shot and killed Friday night, Friday, October 4th, 2019, tragic killing of Joshua Brown. So we have updates dealing with the killing of Joshua Brown, and then also the judge in the case, Judge Tammy Kemp, has broken her silence. She's spoken out about why she hugged Amber Guyger. So we'll talk about that as well. And then a lot of people have been talking about a possible appeal that Amber Guyger's team, defense team may file, okay? And I could tell you right now, yes, they're going to file an appeal, all right? That's going to be some time before they do it. But appeals are filed. Murder, people who are convicted of murder, they have their defense teams file appeals all the time. Okay, that does not mean they're going to get another trial, however. So I'm going to break that down as well, explain the difference, okay? There was an article from Fox Channel 4 News about this, dealing with Amber Guyger's defense team. It's expected they will file an appeal. Okay, go ahead and file your appeal. So we'll talk about that. And then I'll talk also about the Castle Doctrine, okay? Judge Tammy Kemp allowed the Castle Doctrine to be considered by the jury. This was her instructions during deliberation, okay? Determining whether guilt or not guilty, guilty or not guilty. And a lot of people were confused. Why would she do that? Things like that. If you saw the video I did on October 3rd, 2019, I talked about this. And I said that, no, actually it was October 1st. It was October 1st when the verdict came out. I think it was October 1st when the verdict came out. I talked about that. And I said it was good that she did that. Because if she did not do that, that would open it up for, that would be grounds that the defense would argue why they would need a retrial, okay? So Roland Martin interviewed attorney Robert Patillo on October 1st, 2019, the day that the verdict came out, okay? I'm gonna share an excerpt with you of that interview because he said the same thing I said. One. Two, attorney S. Lee Merritt, who's the lead attorney for the Botham John family, he was the one who first let us know that Joshua Brown had been killed, okay? And he did an interview with lawandcrime.com, and he also has an update on his Twitter page. I'll share those updates with you as well, okay? All right, so everybody share this broadcast on your Facebook page. Invite your friends to tune in also. I just shared it also, so we have a lot of information to cover and not a lot of time to do it in as well. So I want to jump right into this. I was wanted to broadcast early today, but I was tired and I was going through reviewing a lot of information and pulling together my notes and everything. So getting ready for this. All right. So who we have here? Tommy, Darren, Ariana, who's that? Arena, Don, Eric, just a few of the people watching, Bonita. All right, so let's jump into this. Now, this morning on the Tom Joyner Morning Show, October 7th, Roland Martin interviewed one of the attorneys in the case, one of the attorneys for the family, attorney Daryl Washington. And Daryl Washington talks some about the killing of Joshua Brown as well. So I'm going to share an excerpt of that interview also. And that you can find that interview at blackamericaweb.com and also at Roland Martin's YouTube channel on Facebook, Roland Martin. So let's look at the first article here, because I have a number of them. Let's look at the article from CBSnews.com. CBS News has an article from October 7th. Slain witness in ex-cop's trial would have testified in civil case against Dallas police. Slain witness in ex-cop's trial would have testified in civil case against Dallas police. Okay, so this is talking about Joshua Brown. Now, one of the things that I talked about in my October 5th broadcast, and we got more information between, I guess, yesterday and today, between yesterday and October 7th, from attorney Lee Merritt, is that Joshua Brown was the victim of gun violence in 2018. He was shot, and the person standing next to him was killed. Okay, so one of the reasons why he was fearful when it came to gun violence and fearful around testifying, things like this, is because he was a previous victim of gun violence. So if we look at this article here from CBSnews.com, and I'll post the links of the articles here on the thread of the broadcast. Dallas police say they are investigating Friday night's shooting and so far do not have any suspects or a motive. Okay, so the attorney for Botham John's family is also the attorney for Joshua Brown and his family, and say he should have been protected after he testified at Amber Guyger's murder trial. The Botham John family has filed a civil case, a civil lawsuit against the city of Dallas for the murder of their son, Botham John. Attorney S. Lee Merritt says Joshua Brown would have been one of their first witnesses. Okay, so his testimony helped prosecutors piece together the events of Botham John's murder. This is when he testified on September 24th at the Amber Guyger trial. Okay, so on the witness stand, Joshua Brown recalled feeling startled when he heard the gunshots that will ultimately take Botham John's life. Now the John family and their attorney, Lee Merritt, are demanding answers. So Lee Merritt told CBS News, quote, "To have a key witness suddenly be killed is suspicious. Was this related to the trial? There is no clear indication," end quote. Now, Joshua Brown took the stand in Amber Guyger's trial and gave emotional testimony about the night Botham John was killed, September 6, 2018. Joshua Brown said he was in a hallway when he heard two gunshots. The shooting that killed Joshua Brown happened at a different apartment complex, however, than the one where Amber Guyger and Botham John lived. So Joshua Brown has moved away from the Southside Flats apartment where he lived, and he was a neighbor of Botham John, and Amber Guyger lived on the floor below. So he doesn't live there anymore. And a lot of people have moved away from those apartments also. Attorney S. Lee Merritt has talked about this. So Friday, when the shooting happened and it was being reported the next day, Saturday, it wasn't reported the next day, Saturday, it wasn't clear exactly, was he at the apartment where Botham was killed, at that apartment building, or another apartment building. Okay, so he doesn't live at the apartment building where Botham was killed. All right, so the shooting that killed Joshua Brown happened at a different apartment complex than the one where Amber Guyger and Botham John lived. Witnesses described hearing several gunshots Friday night, October 4th, 2019, and seeing a silver four-door sedan speeding away from the parking lot. Attorney S. Lee Merritt says Joshua Brown was scared someone was after him after he was involved in a separate shooting incident in Dallas, Texas. All right. Merritt said, quote, and I'm looking at the screen and also my notes because I have all these articles printed up and marked I have my notes marked. Okay, so just bear with me here. Quote, he had been shot less than a year ago and someone standing near him was killed, end quote. Quote, he was reluctant to testify in this case because he had been shot at and he thought some people might want to do harm to him, end quote. All right. So these details here, we didn't necessarily know Saturday. We knew that I remember reading something about him being involved, having been shot previously, but we didn't know exactly some of the details about this. Okay. Now, asked if the police could have offered Joshua Brown protection, Esley Merritt said, quote, if he had concerns for his safety, then the city, the county had an obligation to ensure that those concerns were met, end quote. Okay. Now, Joshua Brown was working in roofing and also property management because he owned some Airbnbs. And I reported on that October 5th. So check out the October 5th broadcast where I went deep into this. Be sure to follow us here on Facebook, The African History Network, The African History Network, and also on YouTube at Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP on YouTube. Okay, so that's the first article. That is from CBS News. And let me see, they have a video in here. They have a video in here you can watch also for more information. Let me post this link here. I want to go to this article from lawandcrime.com. Lawandcrime.com has an article from, which one is this one? They have a new one from October 7th. October 7th. Attorney for Botham John's family slain witness would have been called to testify against city in civil case. Okay. Now, I'm going to skip over some things that are redundant for the sake of time here. All right. But one of the things they talk about is Lee Merritt. And let me pull this up here. Yeah, here we go. So I have it up here already pulled up on the screen. So Lee Merritt said, quote, he was reluctant to testify in this case because he had been shot at and he thought some people might want to do him harm, end quote. Now, Joshua Brown was shot in the foot in an incident in 2018 outside of the Dallas Cabaret Strip Club, according to WFAA Channel 8 there in the Dallas, Texas area. And WFAA has some very, very good reporting on this case. I've read numerous articles going back to the day after the killing happened, going back to September 7th, 2018. I've read numerous articles from WFAA Channel 8. Okay. All right. So Nicholas Shaquan Diggs was killed. All right. This was going back to 2018. He was someone that was standing near Joshua Brown. When Joshua Brown was shot. Joshua Brown was shot in the foot. Nicholas Shaquan Diggs was killed. Kendall Deshaun Morris was indicted for murder and aggravated assault over the incident and is out on bond, said the outlet WFAA. Okay. So these details we didn't have the day after Joshua Brown was killed. Okay. There's no public substantive evidence to support the claim that Joshua Brown was killed as retaliation for testifying against Amber Guyger. What we do have is very striking timing. So we know Amber Guyger was convicted October 1st, 2019, et cetera. Okay. And that is Law and Crime. That's the reporting from Law and Crime. So in here, they have an article from WFAA Channel 8 and a link to that article. The name of that article from WFAA Channel 8 is Slain Witness in Amber Guyger's Murder Trial was prior victim of gun violence, sources say. That's an updated article. I already read the original article. I'm going to give you that link as well. Check that out also. Because as more information comes out, well, as days go on, more information comes out, okay? And so if you watch the October 5th broadcast I did, I'm not quick to jump and start making accusations and things like this and don't have evidence to make accusations, Okay, a lot of people just automatically assume it was retaliation, stuff like that. Could be, doesn't have to be. It could be stuff that we don't even know about. And that doesn't mean that Joshua did something wrong. Okay, I want to make that clear. That doesn't mean Joshua did something wrong or wrong somebody. We don't know what it is. It could be anything. Okay, so I've been doing this for a long time. Been doing radio 9 years. I've studied a number of different cases, studied a number of different police shootings and cases in general, and you think it's one thing and come to find out it's something entirely different. All right, so that's why I don't just go out and start making accusations. Okay, so I posted that article there from WFAA. Check that out as well. Slain witness in Amber Guyger murder trial was prior victim of gun violence, source says. Okay, Joshua Brown, 28, was a witness in the murder trial. Okay, let me see here. Anything new? Dallas police issued a statement Sunday afternoon saying that Joshua Brown was shot multiple times in the lower portion of his body. Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins tweeted that Joshua Brown was not shot in the, quote, mouth or head, end quote, was not shot in the mouth or head. Jenkins vowed, District County Judge Clay Jenkins vowed the city and the county would, quote, work to ensure a transparent and thorough investigation of the murder of Joshua Brown, end quote. Dallas Police Chief Renee Hall, who's actually a police officer from Detroit. She was in the Detroit Police Department before she went down to Dallas. Dallas Police Chief Renee Hall said in a statement late Sunday afternoon that there are no, quote, suspects or motives, end quote, in Brown's killing. All right. Now, if you saw my October 5th broadcast, I was sharing the post from S. Lee Merritt's Twitter account because I follow him on Twitter. Okay. And I'm reached out to him. I'm trying to see if I could set up an interview. I'm trying to call him tomorrow. He did a post. So first of all, just to back up quickly, while I was doing the broadcast October 5th, he posted about Joshua Brown being shot in the mouth and chest. Then he did another post that while I was on the air, and it says, it's from October 5th. It says, where hashtag Joshua Brown was shot seems to be disputed. I was told by immediate family that the ME medical examiner said mouth and chest. Initially, I was told in the back. I just heard from a witness who provided aid to a wound in the buttocks and side. We will have to await the autopsy to be sure. Once again, this is why you have to wait for the facts to come out as opposed to just jumping on the first narrative. Could be right, could be wrong. Okay. And that coincides with Judge Clay Jenkins. And actually, Roland Martin talked about this morning on the Tom Joyner Morning Show when he interviewed Attorney Darrell Washington. That coincides with Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins, who tweeted that Joshua Brown was not shot in the quote unquote mouth or head, end quote. All right, so I want to update you on a couple of tweets here from S. Lee Merritt. So just a second here. Okay, this is the one from October 6th. S. Lee Merritt said, figuring out what happened to Joshua will take something we just haven't mastered yet, unity. So he said in his October 6th post, he said, we are under constant attack as a community, but we seem to have only mastered fighting each other. I don't know who killed Joshua Brown. He was truly a genuine soul that was loved deeply by his family and friends, and I will work to get to the bottom of his murder. In the meantime, I've watched a pattern emerge. It goes like this, quote unquote, they attack our community, we respond by attacking each other. Okay, they attack our community, we respond by attacking each other. Take the Amber Guyger trial, for example. It revealed corruption at every level in the city of Dallas. Amber Guyger's partner, Martin Rivera, openly admitted destroying evidence, violating departmental policy, committing perjury. He has faced little to no blowback. He is still a Dallas police officer till this day. The Dallas Police Association president, Mike Maafa, M-A-T-T-A, showed up to Botham's apartment the night he was murdered and interjected himself into that investigation, actively conspiring to protect Amber Guyger. He instructed she be taken out of custody, that body cam and dash cam videos be halted, and began crafting a narrative to get her off on camera. Okay. He's saying, let me repeat this. He instructed she be taken out of custody, that body cam and dash cam videos be halted, and began crafting a narrative to get her off on camera. The DOJ, Department of Justice, needs to be auditing the entire department. Okay. We should be hounding now the auditing the department. Now, that is called an investigation into the patterns and practices of police departments. Thanks to Donald Trump and his attorney generals, first Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III, former U.S. Senator to Alabama, and now his handpicked attorney general, William Barr, who auditioned for the job as attorney general by writing a 19-page unsolicited essay talking about the powers of the president and the president can't be indicted and all types of nonsense like this. Okay, but like 99% of legal scholars say is ridiculous. This is who is attorney general. This is who is attorney general now. This is an example of how elections have consequences, because the president nominates the attorney general, and the attorney general is confirmed by the U.S. Senate. U.S. Senate led by Moscow Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, and those Republicans who largely confirmed William Barr. So Donald Trump and his attorney generals have taken a hands-off approach to policing. They're not having any more investigations into the patterns and practices of police departments like you had 24, 25 times under the Obama administration. Because there were more investigations of police departments under President Obama than any other previous president, going back to about 92 because of the Rodney King beating. That is when Congress gave the Department of Justice the power to investigate the police departments and then enter into consent decrees. Okay, consent decrees. So Jeff Sessions, just show you how elections have consequences, and we don't understand this. Okay, and this is what I was trying to explain to people in 2016, and unfortunately, many of our people still don't understand this today. All right, what happened was that Jeff Sessions, when he became Attorney General, he said that they were basically going to take a hands-off approach to investigating police departments. And this is what they've done. All right. So Botham Jean's mother talked about how there's corruption in the Dallas Police Department, and that corruption needs to be dealt with. Okay. Now, his family doesn't live here in the U.S. They're not from the U.S. They're from the Caribbean island of St. Lucia. So they've already gone back home. Okay. This is what people have to understand. St. Lucia, if you Google St. Lucia and you look at Britannica.com, because a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people think his family lives here. No, Botham lived here. He went to work for PricewaterhouseCoopers, but Botham wasn't born here. Botham was born in St. Lucia. He came here, I think maybe he came here to go to college, but he came here to work for PricewaterhouseCoopers, the accounting firm that he worked for. He's not from here. His family is not from here. Also, his family is a prominent family in St. Lucia. So St. Lucia is a Caribbean island that is 85% Black. According to the 2010 data on St. Lucia at Britannica.com, the white population of St. Lucia is 0.6%. Less than 1% on the island of St. Lucia. Okay, so it's a Black nation. Okay, so their whole understanding, when you come from a Black nation like that, and I don't even know what that's like. All right, when you come from a Black nation, your whole understanding of a lot of things is totally different. Okay, so research St. Lucia, Lucia. The Department of Justice. So this is Attorney S. Lee Merritt. His Twitter post from October 5th. The Department of Justice needs to be auditing the entire department, referring to the Dallas Police Department. But it's not going to happen under this administration. Oh, it ain't going to happen. We should be hounding the mayor and police chief nonstop to clean house. We are not, though. The vast majority of our bandwidth has been directed to telling an 18-year-old how to properly grieve. Now, keep in mind, so that's Brant. That's Brant John, Botham's brother. Brant was 17 years old when his brother was killed. Okay? We have to understand this. Okay, so the black female judge, Judge Tammy Kemp, that prevented the Texas Rangers from tanking, T-A-N-K-I-N-G, tanking this case with their biased conclusions, is currently being destroyed socially and under formal review professionally because she had a human moment after the case was completely over. Now, this ain't somebody who's a bystander in the case. I want you to understand this. This is why a lot of these people putting this bullshit out here on social media needs to go do some research before they do this nonsense. Now, this is S. Lee Merritt. He knows more about this case than most of these people doing videos and memes about the case. I've read about 80 articles on this case. I've read the affidavits from the Dallas Police Department, Texas Rangers, all that stuff. I know more than most of the people putting this stuff out. He knows more than me. This is him. He was in the court every damn day. This is him saying this. This is not me. Follow him on Twitter at Merritt Law, Meritlaw, Merritt Law, attorney S. Lee Merritt. He knows more about this case than, with the exception of maybe the prosecutors, but even he probably know more about this case than the prosecutors. This is him saying this. He was in court every day, and he's breaking this down. Follow him on Twitter, okay? So you can get this information directly from him, somebody who knows what the hell they're talking about. All right, so the black female judge that prevented the Texas Rangers from tanking this case with their biased conclusions is currently being destroyed socially and under formal review professionally because she had a human moment after the case was completely over. And I watched, one of the things I was doing today, I was watching some interviews that the family did in attorney S. Lee Merritt. So there was one interview, let's see, Global News. Where is that? It's on YouTube. Global News, October 4th, 2019. Watch this video here. Botham John's family thanks community for support, reacts to video of brother hugging Guyger. Why? It's like 6 minutes, 34 seconds. Watch that full video, okay? And let's see. And S. Lee Merritt, attorney S. Lee Merritt is there and he's talking about Judge Tammy Kemp giving the Bible to hugging Amber Guyger and giving the Bible to her. Now, nobody's ever seen that happen before. I'm not a big fan of it, but at the same time, I was not in the court. S. Lee Merritt was. So, in a situation like this, he knows a whole lot more about this than I do. So if he is saying that, then okay, I'll follow that because he knows a whole lot more about this case than I do. And I've read 80 articles. I've done extensive research on this case. But if he's there in the court, he knows what the mood was. He was in court every day. So, that's why I haven't attacked her. One, I wanted to hear from her. Two, I've been listening to him. He knows a whole lot more about this than these people putting this bullshit out here. So I'll follow his lead on that. But let me see. Let me give you this link here. This is for okay, this is the WFAA. I'm sorry. This is the Global News on YouTube. All right. Botham John's family thanks community for support, reacts to video of brother hugging Guyger. Okay, that's from October 4th, 2019, Global News. You can watch that. We posted that link there. Okay, so most people, this tweet here from S. Lee Merritt, and he's breaking down what's taking place. Most people are not talking about this and don't even know about it. That comes from lack of research. Let's continue. The black female judge that prevented the Texas Rangers from tanking the case with their biased conclusions is currently being destroyed socially and under formal review professionally because she had a human moment after the case was completely over. Why are we so anxious to attack Black women while ignoring glaring injustices? Because see, most of these people talking about the judge, they ain't talking about the corruption in the Dallas Police Department. How many memes, the same people who putting this nonsense out here about the judge, how many memes did you put out about the corruption in the Dallas Police Department? I wonder why. Because that's what Botham's mother was calling out. The corruption in Dallas Police Department. This is what S. Lee Merritt is breaking down. Now, if you missed my October 5th broadcast, I think it was in that one. So yeah, the October 5th broadcast, I talked about this, right? The Texas Rangers, if we look at the article from DallasNews.com, Dallas Morning News basically had the best from all the sources I read, local sources, national sources, they had the best day-to-day coverage, Dallas Morning News. If we look at the article, legal experts say Amber Guyger guilty verdict signals major shift in how juries view police officers. October 1st, 2019, Dallas Morning News. This is the day of the guilty verdict, but it's the day before the sentence was delivered. Another thing, people putting this stuff out here attacking the judge because of the sentencing. The sentencing was not done by the judge, it was done by the jury. The jury determined the sentencing, not the judge, okay? All right, so page 4 of this article, because I told you, I have a file folder of articles on this case. As I said before, Botham John Amber Guyger trial, I got a file folder of articles. These are just the ones printed up. I have a ton of articles that are bookmarked. But what Attorney Lee Merritt is saying, and I've talked about this previously, is that lead investigator for the Texas Rangers, Sergeant David L. Armstrong, he testified during the trial that he did not think that Amber Guyger did anything wrong. He testified that she thought she was in her apartment. It wasn't her apartment, and she defended herself. He testified he did not think she did anything wrong. Now, keep in mind, let's go to the affidavit from the Texas Rangers, right? Where did I put that? Let's see here. We got it here, just a second here. That's Donald Trump. Let's see. I think I put it back here in the folder. Yeah, here we go. It's on top. So let's look at this. Let me explain to you what Attorney Lee Merritt is talking about, right? So this is the affidavit from September 9th, 2018. He was the lead investigator. Here's his name right here, David L. Armstrong. The state of Texas warrant of arrest to any peace officer of the state of Texas. Now, the Texas Rangers are the state police. He was the lead investigator for the Texas Rangers on this case. He testified that he didn't think Amber Guyger did anything wrong. She thought she was in her apartment. It's a tragedy. She defended herself. The judge, Tammy Kemp, did not allow the jury to hear that testimony because for my thinking on this, that goes to really trying to come to a decision as opposed to just presenting the evidence. That goes to actually drawing a conclusion, okay? So if we look at this article from Dallas Morning News, legal experts say Amber Guyger guilty verdict signals major shift in how juries view police officers. On page 4 of this article, it talks about Brian Poe, P-O-E. Brian Poe is a former state and federal prosecutor, okay? And he said that historically, first responders have been given deferential treatment. We may be seeing a shift here where that's not the case anymore. They're not getting the pass like they used to. What surprised Brian Poe, former state and federal prosecutor, however, was the fact that the Dallas County District Attorney's Office pursued the case even though its lead investigator, David L. Armstrong of the Texas Rangers, believed Amber Guyger acted reasonably when she shot Botham John. This is what Lee Merritt is talking about. State District Judge Tammy Kemp did not allow the jury to hear that particular testimony from David L. Armstrong, Sergeant of the Texas Rangers. S. Lee Merritt is saying because of her wisdom, if she had allowed the jury to hear that testimony, that could have tanked the case. This is what he's explaining. Let me repeat. So let's go back to his tweet. Because see, I've seen a whole lot of people commenting. Nobody has talked about this. I've talked about it in my videos because I do research. All these damn memes floating around, you ain't seen nobody talk about this. I wonder why. This is S. Lee Merritt, attorney S. Lee Merritt. The black female judge that prevented the Texas Rangers from tanking this case with their biased conclusions is currently being destroyed socially and under formal review professionally because she had a human moment after the case was completely over. This was after the sentence was rendered that she hugged Amber Guyger. And so I may disagree with it or haven't never seen that before, but S. Lee Merritt was there every day. He said she had a human moment. I'll go with his lead on that. He knows more about this than I do. All right, so because she had a human moment after the case was completely over, why are we so anxious to attack Black women while ignoring glaring injustices? Why are we so anxious to attack Black women while ignoring glaring injustices? I've read articles condemning my office's financial interests in this case. Our community has joined in, reaffirming the greedy Black lawyer caricature that white supremacists use to denounce justice efforts. Now Joshua Brown is dead, and instead of coming together, trolls have gone so far as to say his blood is on my hands, referring to S. Lee Merritt personally. His blood is on, the trolls are saying that Joshua Brown's blood is on S. Lee Merritt's hands. We have real enemies. We have real work to do. We have to stop this self-destructive tendency to implode and fight each other. Let's bring the fight to them. It will require something rare. Unity, U-N-I-T-Y, unity, hashtag it's on us. So I'm gonna post a link here to this tweet from attorney S. Lee Merritt on Twitter. And because you're not gonna hear this from a whole lot of other people. And if you go watch my October 5th broadcast, I already broke down, and I think I did it on October 3rd as well, because this article is from October 1st. So I think I did it October 3rd. I think I did it in the October 1st broadcast. I know I did it October 3rd and October 5th. I talked about this, and how Judge Tammy Kemp did not allow the jury to hear the conclusion of Sergeant David L. Armstrong of the Texas Rangers that Amber Guyger did not do anything wrong, because that is, he's not presenting evidence. He's drawing a conclusion. Okay, so check all this out. All right, now there was another one. There was another one from Misha said exactly. Okay, let's go quickly. I'm going to share this other. That was from October 5th. That was from October 5th from S. Lee Merritt. Okay. There's one from October 6th and one from October 7th. I'll share those with you in just a second. Let's go quickly to some of your comments here while they're scrolling. Let me just announce some people who we have here. Mark, let's see, we got Mark, Nikki, let's see, Jadarian, okay. Mark, you can be angry with both the injustice and a supposed human moment for a convicted movement. Yeah, but the question is what you're going to do about it. Vincent, don't give out the sentence if that was correct. Said I disagree. The jury gave out the sentence, not the judge. Go research this case. The jury gave out the sentence. Now they should have given more time because the prosecution wanted 28 years. They should have given out more time. But when you actually go research this case, the jury was the one that gave out the sentence, not the judge. The jury did the deliberation. They determined, when I say that, they determined how much time she would get. Okay. That's why you got to go research this case. Kathleen, you can refute that reasonable cause because it's unreasonable to think that someone else's apartment is yours. But that was her defense. Now, there were people that testified how, and S. Lee Merritt has talked about how numerous people had gone to the wrong apartment on the wrong floor, things like that. But he also talked about how when she was confronted with Botham, she made a conscious decision to kill him. Okay. This is why people really need to go watch these interviews that attorney S. Lee Merritt has done, and the John family also. Okay. This is why people really need to do research on this. He talked about how she made a conscious decision instead of retreating, instead of backing up, things like this. She made a conscious decision when confronted with Botham to kill him. S. Lee Merritt talked about how he thinks she made a mistake and went to the wrong floor. But when she was encountered with Botham, she made a conscious decision to kill him, as opposed to backing up. If you think it's a burglar, call for backup, things like this. There were a number of things she could have done as opposed to killing him. But once again, this is why I research these cases as opposed to coming on here and just running my mouth. Portia, I agree that she should have been more biased to the family, more so, but the young man initiated it first. More biased to the family. I don't know what you're talking about. The young man initiated it first. That was during the impact statement, during the sentencing phase, prior to the jury issuing what the sentence was. They had family members and friends to testify, to give impact statements. And if you watch the press conference from October 4th, 2019, that I posted here on the thread from Global News, entitled "Botham John's Family Thanks Community for Support, Reacts to Video of Brother Hogan Guyger," S. Lee Merritt talks about how Brandt John wasn't originally going to even give an impact statement, even testify. Okay, this is during the sentencing phase. This is after the verdict has already been rendered. And it's like 2 minutes before he got on the stand, he wasn't going to do it. The other thing is, in this interview and on the Dr. Phil show on Friday, October 5th, 2019, when the John family was interviewed along with attorneys Benjamin Crump and S. Lee Merritt, Brandt John there on Dr. Phil's show and in this video talked about how he didn't know the cameras were still on when he was on the stand and said what he said and gave her a hug, all that stuff. He didn't know the cameras were on because it was after the verdict was already read. This is during the sentencing deliberation. So he said he didn't know the cameras were still on either. This is why people need to go watch this interview. Okay, let's continue here. Let's go to, okay. Then also, let's see, we got it. We need to research, Lamont said. Yeah, that's true. Because I see a lot of stuff people putting out. I can tell they haven't done any research. And that's problematic. This is one of the problems with social media. Anybody can use it. Second, if she went to the wrong apartment, was she drunk? Misha, no, she wasn't drunk because a toxicology report showed she wasn't drunk. Okay, go watch my previous videos where I go break all this stuff down. Okay. All right, let's go to I want to go to this other post from attorney Esley Merritt as well. Also, African American business owners, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. We have some new advertisers as well that you'll hear about. And theprofitroom.com, visit theprofitroom.com if you want to learn more about financial markets, investing, building generational wealth. Theprofitroom.com is a stock market trading and education company that has mentorship programs that are designed for beginners. They teach individuals how to create generational wealth through trading and investing in the financial markets. They can teach you about stocks, options, futures, foreign exchange markets, as well as their specialty is day trading and one-on-one mentorship. Visit their website, theprofitroom.com, Profit, theprofitroom.com. Let them know you found out about this from the African History Network. All right, let's go to, I want to go to this other tweet from Esley Merritt, okay? Yes, she did, and is receiving death threats as well. Now, who is receiving death threats? Who is that? Who said that? Shirley. Who's receiving death threats, Shirley? Okay, let's go to this other one here. Just give me a minute because I got like 50 tabs open. And I'm running off of 2 laptops. All right, so that was from October. That was from October 6th. Figuring out what happened. Okay, we are under constant attack. Okay, that was the tweet from October 6th from attorney Esley Merritt. Now, Sean King tweeted on October 6th. Merritt Law is working directly with the family. Bill Perkins is providing the $100,000 reward, and we won't stop until we find who murdered Joshua and why. Okay, so check that out as well. And that's Sean King's Twitter page, but also Esley Merritt shared it as well. Okay. Where's this other tweet? Okay, Esley Merritt was interviewed by Law and Crime on October 7th. And okay, here's the one I'm looking for. Okay, October 7th, 2019, attorney Esley Merritt said, I want to be clear about something. I am not saying that law enforcement played a role in the murder of #Joshua Brown. I am saying that the possibility of law enforcement involvement cannot be ruled out at this point. Okay, let's go to the full tweet that's beyond the 280 characters. I want to be clear about something. I'm not saying that law enforcement played a role in the murder of Joshua Brown. I'm saying that the possibility of law enforcement involvement cannot be ruled out at this point. Anyone who is murdered days after testifying in a murder trial naturally implicates the person or persons who testified against who he testified against in the murder. Okay, naturally implicates the person or persons he testified against in the murder. There are no suspects and leads currently in the murder of Joshua Brown. Okay, no suspects and leads currently in the murder of Joshua Brown. That means investigators are responsible for turning over every stone. Moreover, the people responsible for investigating this case cannot be the same people implicated by the proximity to the trial. The people responsible for investigating this case cannot be the same people implicated by the proximity to the trial. In other words, Dallas PD, Dallas Police Department, should not investigate this murder. It's the same thing I said. I said the FBI has to investigate this. The state police, who are the Texas Rangers, they should not investigate this because their lead investigator said that Amber Guyger didn't do anything wrong in the first place. So you need to bring the FBI in. The feds have to investigate this. The case should be turned over to an outside agency like the Sheriff's Department, FBI, or DOJ, Department of Justice. Okay, I think you need to bring in the FBI on this. Okay, so that is from October 7th. All right. Oh, let me get the link here. I'm going to post that link here also to that Twitter post, to that tweet. We'll post that link so you can check that out as well. All right, let's continue. Okay, so we got this one from Law and Crime. I dealt with that one as well. All right. 2 articles down. Now, let's go to the appeal. Fox Channel 4, Fox Now Channel 4 in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, has an article dealing with the appeal. Okay. And we'll go to that in just a second here. Let me look at some more of your comments. Also, if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, paypal.me/the AHN show, paypal.me/the AHN show. That helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, broadcast our Sunday night show. Helps cover expenses when I have to travel out of state, also and speak out of state as well. paypal.me/the AHN show. Or at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right, Misha said, I don't think she was brought in immediately. Okay, she was responding to somebody. Do you believe the toxicology report was correct? Can't remember if she was brought in immediately when she killed him. Okay, and then also she had just gotten off of work about 30 minutes to an hour prior to that as well. After following Sandra Bland case for Texas law enforcement, for a while, Texas law enforcement are incompetent, dirty, and corrupt, Nikki said. Well, this is why S. Lee Merritt, if you go and read that tweet from October 6th from S. Lee Merritt, this is why he's saying there needs to be an investigation into the Dallas Police Department. This is the same thing Botham Shem John's mother, Allison, I think is her first name. This is the same thing she was calling for as well. Okay, Miles. The prosecutor had plenty of evidence showing Amber not looking concerned about her killing an innocent man. Okay, he's responding to Pamela. All right. Just a second. Let me look at some of your comments that are not private conversations that you have with somebody else, okay? Let's see here. Okay, I heard the girl who filmed it got fired for recording. You're referring to Bunny. Okay, so there was an article from, well, first of all, I found out about this last year, about Bunny in the video that she shot. Yarima Karama, I think is his name, interviewed Bunny. This is last year when this happened, if I remember correctly. News1.com has an article. News1.com has an article about it. She recorded video of Amber Guyger pacing back and forth and Botham being carried out on the stretcher, things like that. Let's see here. BET had this article. So what happened was she uploaded the video. People found out where she worked. She worked for a pharmaceutical company. People found out where she worked. They called her job, harassed her job. I think they threatened her, things like that. And then her employer fired her. Okay. Let me see if we have, try to put, yeah. BET has an article about this from October 6, 2019. Woman who filmed Amber Guyger after she got shot. Okay, well, it's loading up now. So the Advise show interviewed her, Bunny. Okay, now Yarima Karama interviewed her late last year about this. Let me give you this article. Woman who filmed Amber Guyger minutes after she shot Botham. All right, it's still loading. Only half the page is loaded up. I've got like 50 tabs open. Even though this is like high-speed internet through Comcast and it's high price too. And I'm just saying some, but okay, we'll wait for that to load up. But I'll give you the link here to this article so you can watch it. And it has the interview that the Advised show did with her as well. Okay, her name is Bunny. All right, so that's loading up. Let's go to this article here from Fox Channel 4. Amber Guyger's legal team expected to appeal murder conviction. Amber Guyger's legal team expected to appeal murder conviction, okay? And everybody share this broadcast on your Facebook page. Invite your friends to tune in as well. Now, this is from October 2nd, 2019. Legal experts believe Amber Guyger's legal team will likely appeal her murder conviction, okay? Now, as I explained to people on my Facebook page today, people who are convicted of murder appeal. They have their attorneys file an appeal all the time, every day, all day. People who are convicted of crimes who are in prison do this. Just because you file an appeal does not mean you are going to be awarded a second trial. People file appeals all the time. You have a right to file an appeal. Okay, so what? Now, skip over that redundant stuff. Now, so although Amber Guyger's trial is done, the case is likely far from over. Trial observers like defense attorney Heath Harris are looking ahead to what could happen when Amber Guyger's murder conviction, looking ahead to what could happen with Amber Guyger's murder conviction in appeals court. Now, Heath Harris is not affiliated with the case. He has experience, however, as a former prosecutor on police cases and believes Amber Guyger's attorneys will move aggressively to get a new trial. Attorney Heath Harris said, quote, they're going to throw everything just like they did in this trial. They're going to throw everything they have at the appellate court, hoping something sticks, hoping something gives them another chance at retrying the case. Now, there is a lot to go through in the court record, transcripts of 7 days, testimony, and closing arguments. The background of jurors and witnesses, and every motion allowed and denied by Dallas County Judge Tammy Kemp. The appeal sentence could possibly start with the judge not allowing the trial to be moved out of Dallas County. Now, so at the beginning, Amber Guyger's defense team was asking for a change of venue. They argued they could not get a fair trial. They argued there's too much media coverage. They argued, the people are angry. They're activists protesting things like this. Judge, we can't get a fair trial in this county. We need to move it. Can't get a fair trial in the city. We need to move it to another venue. Okay. Judge Tammy Kemp said no. Now, attorney Heath Harris said there's a reason why they did not want it to be here in Dallas County. Obviously, the emotional appeal, you've seen a lot of emotion from the citizens here in Dallas County. Now, during the trial, crucial testimony, this is Fox Channel 4 reporting. This goes back to what I was just talking about from the tweet from attorney S. Lee Merritt, and I've talked about this in my previous broadcast from October 3rd and October 5th. During the trial, crucial testimony that may have helped Amber Guyger's defense was not allowed in court. Outside the presence of the jury, 2 law enforcement officers said they believed Amber Guyger acted reasonably and did not commit a crime. The judge, Judge Tammy Kemp, declined to let the jury hear those opinions. Those were opinions, okay? One of them was lead investigator David L. Armstrong, sergeant of the Texas Rangers. Judge Tammy Kemp did not allow the jury to hear that. So defense attorney Heath Harris said they're going to scour through that transcript. They're going to scour through every ruling for what are the appropriate issues that could potentially get this case overturned. Now, legal experts say it will likely be a while before the case is in court again. Amber Guyger's legal team will need to do some procedural things like getting transcripts from the trial and presenting briefs to get the process moving forward. Okay, so they can do all that, but they have to find something really significant to say, well, look, there was improper procedure in this trial. They'll probably say, well, the lead investigator, the jury didn't hear him, things like this, but he was given opinions. he was given an opinion saying that Amber Guyger didn't do anything wrong. Okay, that's why the judge did not allow the jury to hear that. But something important. So the Castle Doctrine. Okay, the Castle Doctrine is important to understand. Now, so people were saying during when the testimony ended and it was going to deliberation to determine guilt or not guilty or not guilty, Judge Tammy Kemp instructed the jury that they could take into consideration the Castle Doctrine. The reason why was because Amber Guyger's defense was self-defense. And she claimed that she thought the apartment was hers. Okay. Now, it's not what you think and she's lying, all that stuff. The judge can't instruct the jury to say disregard that she's lying. The judge has to properly instruct the jury on what to consider based upon Texas state law. Once again, this is why you have to understand law. Unfortunately, so many of our people don't understand law. Texas state law states that if you are in your home and there's a threat, you don't have to retreat. It's dealing with the culture, and it deals with self-defense. Okay, you can use deadly force. It's up to the jury to determine whether or not she is telling the truth or lying based upon the evidence. That's up to the jury. The judge can't make that decision because this is not a bench trial. This is a jury trial. The judge has to properly instruct the jury based upon Texas state law that they can take the Castle Doctrine into consideration if they believe that Amber Guyger is telling the truth and she believed that it was her apartment and this is why she defended herself. This is why she shot and all this stuff. Okay. Now we know that she gave conflicting statements in her affidavits to the Dallas Police Department and the Texas Police and the Texas Rangers. We know that she had other options and didn't have to kill Botham. We understand all that. But the judge has to properly instruct the jury based upon Texas state law. It's up to the jury to determine that. Okay. The jury determined that Amber Guyger was lying based upon the evidence. They determined she was lying. So here is attorney Robert Patillo on the October 1st, 2019 edition of Roland Martin Unfiltered. Roland interviewed attorney Robert Patillo, who talked about this and talked about the Castle Doctrine. And I did my broadcast on October 1st, a couple of hours before this. I basically said the same thing because I knew what that was about, because I have studied police cases in the past. I've interviewed attorneys about this. So when I heard that she instructed the jury about the Castle Doctrine, I already knew what that was. And this was extremely important for her to give the proper jury instruction, because if she had not done that, then that would give the defense, Amber Guyger's defense team, some grounds to call for a retrial, because they would say that the jury was not given a proper instruction in the first trial, okay, to consider the Castle Doctrine under Texas state law, one, and two, this is an example of why we wanted a change of venue, because we said we couldn't get a fair trial in this county. So that would give grounds, that would give two reasons for them, that would give them a foundation and give some credence to two reasons why they will argue for another trial. All right, so let's go to this clip here.
Many folks, of course, were shocked to hear of a Dallas. This is the second time in 2 years where a Dallas area police officer has been found guilty of murder. Now, what also surprised people yesterday when the judge allowed the jury to consider the Castle Doctrine, meaning a person can defend themselves when they are faced with danger in their place of residence, but it wasn't hers. Some legal scholars say the reason the judge did that is to ensure that her case could not be granted on appeal. Joining us right now is Attorney Robert Patillo. Robert, glad to have you on the show. Are you surprised by this jury's decision?
Actually, I wasn't surprised by the jury's decision. What was surprising to me was the tactic of the defense attorney. Most attorneys I've spoken to, and myself included, would have tried to settle this case, would have taken a plea bargain, and not try to present what comes out to a basically silly defense that no jury was going to buy. You saw that just by the quickness of the deliberation and the fact it was a unanimous decision, they didn't continuously ask for additional time. This was a very simple decision for the jury. So I think it'll be interesting in coming weeks or months to find out what exactly the plea offer was on the table and why the defense didn't take that offer.
Well, I don't. Normally, when a plea is offered, we might hear a leak. We might hear it come out. I actually didn't hear that. I'm not even sure even if one is pursued, but you're absolutely right. In terms of some people were very surprised by that. But you know what? I think what you had here, though, is you had, again, some people who believe that, look, a cop stands a better chance of getting found not guilty. They roll the dice.
Absolutely, and I think this goes a long way in tearing down that presumption, tearing down that wall which exists between the officers and their belief of their impunity in the criminal justice system. Just on its face, the explanation given did not match the facts. The justification which she gave was ridiculous from the beginning. Every juror and every person listening knows that when you walk into your house or somebody else's house, and you know the difference between somebody eating ice cream and somebody trying to attack you. But because of these overwhelming facts, I think the jury had no choice but to convict her. I think it is interesting that they did go for the full murder conviction as opposed to the lesser included offense of manslaughter. I think that's a great sign because everything she stated and everything she did indicate that it was not accidental. It was not a case of mistaken identity. She did indeed intend to kill this individual.
Some believe that the DA in this case overcharged, that the judge could have actually, he should have gone for negligent homicide, but clearly the jury went along with murder.
Well, the testimony of Ms. Guyger herself takes the idea of negligent homicide out of the door. The reason that the DA did not overcharge is that is a jury question. The jury always has the ability to include a lesser included offense in their determination. They chose to follow murder. When Ms. Guyger was questioned and asked, "Did you intend to kill this individual when you pulled the trigger?" her answer was yes. That takes negligence out of the window. It was not an accident. We do not know what her motivation was for killing this individual, but we do know that she did indeed intend to kill them. For this reason, again, this goes back to my question of why they did not take a plea deal, because these facts were so squarely in favor of conviction.
Well, I think you're absolutely right in terms of the prosecutors were very good at asking very specific questions that led to those answers, to your point, that took away that particular issue there. And so I thought that was a pretty interesting. In a moment, we're going to be joined by Ben Crump and Lee Barrett, two of the attorneys for the Botham John family. They'll be joining us in just a moment. So folks, let me know when they're there. But bring in our panel, of course. We have Kemet Bethea, communication strategist, Dr. Jason Nichols.
All right, just a minute here. I need to go back to the clip where he talked about the Castle Doctrine. Let me see something here. What is this? Here was it.
A Dallas cop being found guilty, but this is the second time in 2 years where a Dallas area police officer has been found guilty of murder. Now, what also surprised people yesterday when the judge allowed the jury to consider the Castle Doctrine, meaning a person can defend themselves when they are faced with danger in their place of residence, but it wasn't hers. Some legal scholars say the reason the judge did that is to ensure that her case could not be granted on appeal. Joining us right now is Attorney Robert Patillo. Robert, glad to have you on the show. Are you surprised by this jury's decision?
Actually, I wasn't surprised by the jury's decision. What was surprising to me was the tactic of the defense attorney. Most attorneys I've spoken to, and myself included, would have tried to settle this case, would have taken.
Okay, let me skip ahead. Let me see. What did you talk about? The Castle Doctrine. That was at a different point. Here we go. Just a second. Just bear with me here. I got two clips up. I think it's here.
Was found guilty of killing someone in the public housing complex, but then got probation. I think Amber Guyger is going to get some prison time.
I think there's going to be significant prison.
Get past that one. I thought I had it queued up. Hold on. If she comes back in, I think it's here.
While the court rejected motions for summary judgment in the case involving UNC's diversity efforts. Robert Patillo, I want to go to you first by this decision. The Harvard case, they likely are going to appeal.
That's not that. I think it's later in. Hold on. I thought I had it queued up. We talked about the Castle Doctrine.
Because we knew what the game was. So the reality is, if you are a white student,
Later in the show.
bring the phone number back up on the screen. We're going to put the phone number up of the governor to show.
Hold on, where's this? I was watching it earlier and had it queued up.
Sense where their mouth is, but as we said before previously, it's been under both Republican and Democratic administration.
Okay, talking about HBCUs.
Black folks for the last 400 years.
All right. I'll post a link to the full show and you can watch it.
Farmers and rural rednecks to vote Democrat, then registering the hundreds of thousands of unregistered African Americans.
Okay, where's it? I guess towards the end.
Democratic politics in the state of Georgia for most of my adult.
Thought I had it queued up. But I think it's in that, it's somewhere in that one. So we'll post a link here for it. But he talked about the Castle Doctrine, okay? And I had already come to that conclusion, so I talked about that on my broadcast earlier that day. Okay, let's see here. We'll post that link here. That's from October 1st, 2019, Roland Martin Unfiltered. Okay, that was a really good show. That was the day the verdict came out. All right, now, let's go to the judge, Tammy Kemp, has broken her silence. The Griot.com. First of all, Associated Press had a story about this, picked up by the Griot.com, also picked up by BlackAmericaWeb.com. The article from the Griot, judge says she couldn't refuse convicted ex-Amber Guyger a hug in the courtroom, okay? So, let's see, Judge Tammy Kemp says she had never previously acknowledged her Christian faith to a defendant or given one a Bible, but Amber Guyger said she did not have one at the end of her trial for the September 2018 killing of her upstairs neighbor, Botham John. In her first interview since the jury convicted Amber Guyger of murder last week, Judge Tammy Kemp said she felt her actions were appropriate since the trial was over and the former officer told her she didn't know how to begin seeking God's forgiveness. So this is after sentencing, after sentencing deliberation, after the sentence is delivered by the jury. This is when this happened. Now, I've never seen this happen before. The three attorneys for the family said they've never seen anything like this happen before. Also, okay, hold on. Are we still on? Let's see. A second here. They said they never saw anything like this happen before as well. But watch the October 4th press conference from that Esley Merritt did with the family, okay, from Global News. Watch that. All right, and it looks like it's frozen. Okay, so quote, so Tammy Kemp told the Associated Press, she asked me if I thought that God could forgive her, and I said, yes, God can forgive you and has. If she wanted to start with the Bible, quote, if she wanted to start with the Bible, I didn't want her to go back to the jail and to sink into doubt and self-pity and become bitter. because she still has a lot of life ahead of her following her sentence, and I will hope that she could live it purposefully. Critics, end quote. Critics contend that it was unethical of Judge Tammy Kemp to hug Amber Guyger and give her the Bible. One group asked for a judicial misconduct investigation, and some activists have said the hug took the focus off justified anger at a police killing, or justified anger of a police killing. Botham Jean's death drew widespread attention because of the strange circumstances and because it was one in a string of shootings of unarmed Black men by white police officers. Amber Guyger, 31, had just worked a long shift and was still in her uniform when she entered Botham Jean's apartment and shot the 26-year-old accountant who grew up in the Caribbean island nation of St. Lucia. As I said before, Botham wasn't from here. His family's not from here. They're from St. Lucia. She testified, Amber Guyger, that she had mistaken his fourth floor apartment for her own, which was directly underneath his, and that she thought he was an intruder. Now, after Amber Guyger was sentenced and the jury left the courtroom, Botham Jean's brother, Brant John, was allowed to Now, I don't know how many other witnesses they were going to have in the civil case, though. I don't know, okay, at this point in time. All right. Hey, I'll be in, let's see, I'm in Oakland, California, weekend of October 12th, on the Black Agenda Tour with Michi X. Visit the blackagendamovement.com, theblackagendamovement.com. And then let's see, the weekend of October 18th, I'm at Hartford Memorial Baptist Church in Detroit for the social justice ministry. So that Friday, October 17th, I am, let's see, is that the 18th? I think that's the 18th. So that's that Friday. They have a round table. I'll be on a panel discussion that Friday. What is that? Friday, October 18th, Saturday, October 19th, okay, 2019, Hartford Memorial Baptist Church. We'll have the flyer at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. So visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll have all that information there. Information about the Black Agenda tour is there also. And then that Saturday, October 19th, I'll be doing workshops. This year's theme is dealing with 1619 to 2019 and Black migrations, 400 years. So I'll be doing a workshop dealing with Black migrations 1619 to 2019, from the Red Summer to the Birth of a Nation to the Red Summer 1919 to the Detroit Race Riot in 1943. Okay, so we'll have the information at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, with more information. And then October 26th, I'm in Washington, D.C. for the Black Agenda Tour. So blackagendamovement.com for more information, and we'll have the flyer on our website, also AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And then November 9th, 2019, we're in Houston, Texas, okay? If you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, paypal.me/the AHN show, paypal.me/the AHN show. Also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can set up for a recurring donation if you like. Also, if you want to donate 10, 15, 25, 50, 100, what have you. That helps us to keep doing the research, stay on the air, broadcast our Sunday night show, helps pay the bills, helps us, helps when I have to pay the travel, also speak at different events. And then African-American business owners, email us at customerservice@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, customerservice@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And we'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. Current promotion, get 3 months for the price of one. Okay, get 3 months for the price of one. So we can help you with that also. Okay, and then my online courses I do on Thursdays: Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. This is the Year of Return, 1619 to 2019 edition. We deal with thousands of years of history. and we deal with what led to the transatlantic slave trade happening. Okay, so you can visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. This is a 9-week, 18-hour online course that I do. Each session we do live, and but the sessions are recorded, so you can go back and watch them over and over again. Also, as soon as you register, there's about 30 hours of bonus content. Okay, ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa. Understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. All right, well, look, hey, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So remember, right now, let's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.